Hello, CQ. Hello, CQ. CQ, the Old Friends Net. Time for the Sunday edition of the Old Friends Get Together. This is your net control for today, W4MEC, Henderson County, North Carolina. Old Friends Net meets 3 times a week, Sunday, 4 p.m. right now. Frequency is 3715 plus or minus. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 a.m., same frequency. Old Friends Net's Amplitude Modulation only net, and while we prefer that you are using a piece of vintage gear, any rig that will generate an AM signal is welcome to join us. It's a great place to swap gear or to get some information or a bit or piece to fix something. It's also carried out in the roundtable, old-fashioned roundtable mode. I'll take check-ins a couple times throughout the net and make sure you got a place at the table. So, for those wishing to participate, please give W4MEC a call. Come now.
Afternoon, Charlie.
N4LQ.
N4IYQ. D4ARK.
W4KR.
KG4IUQ.
K1VVC.
K3OS.
WB4NKL. KN4R. Oh man, if this was the Old West, I would have had to been packing a pair of 6 guns for this battle. I wrote down as fast as I could here. Most of the time I got suffixes, and I'm adding in the letters here. So here's what I got so far. I got a whole bunch of doubles and triples, but this is what I picked out. So we got Dave, WA4LLR. That's it. Steve N4LQ, Chuck N4IYQ, Mir WF2U, Buddy WB4ARK, Stan W4KR, Glenn N4AK, John K1VVC, Gary K3OS, Jimmy K4JAL, Cliff WB4NKL, and Doak WN4PFI. So let me pick up all those doublers. Try again.
KG4RUQ.
I think I got one dead carrier with no audio and another station underneath. Try one more time.
KG4IUQ.
Okay, the second signal after Mark, KG4IUQ, that was a solid, good, strong carrier with no audio.
That's Boone goofing off. WA4EVK with the wrong switch pull.
Yeah, okay. Any others after Mark and Boone? All right, one more time through the suffixes here. Make sure you know who is before you and who you need to turn it over to. So we've got LLR, LQ, IYQ, 2U, ARK, KR, AK, DVC, OS, JAL, NKL, PFI, IUQ, and EVK. One more time, any further?
KN4R, Kilowatt, November 4, Romeo.
I got KN4R out of that double. So who was the other station that lost the bet?
Elo 8, November, Echo, Echo.
Okay, we got Dennis. So we got after Boone will be Brian, KN4R, then Dennis, K8NEE. Any further? Okay, well, I won't go down the list again, but just your last two there. will be Mark and IEQ, Boone EVK, Brian KN4R, and Dennis K8NEE, and back to me. So anyway, well, this awful weekend has turned out to be a nice Sunday afternoon, 53 degrees, 55 degrees, pretty much cloudless sky. The sun is out. We had some wind earlier, and when I went to tune up my antenna, I said, something doesn't look right. So I went out there, and the wind had shook my feed line and almost unplugged my connector. So I pushed that back together, and that cured the antenna problem. So I hope everybody's copying okay with a little bit of QSB out there. So let's get started with Dave. WA4LLR, W4MEC.
Okay, Charlie, fine business, W4MEC. The old friends, WA4LLR. Good copy on everybody. Band seems to be in real good shape. We had that storm come through late last night and early this morning. Inch and a half, just over an inch and a half of rain, 1.55. Current temperature is about 56 degrees, partly cloudy. Had some pretty good wind. Brought one tree down on our side road that had to be cut out of the road. But other than that, it turned out to be, as you said, a nice afternoon. Running the Babcock MT5B, the HQ150, and a little help from an SB220. So we'll go down to Mr. Steve. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, N4LQ. Well, that's pretty good. We had 34 check-ins and 17 stations. Running the AF-67, HQ110A is the receiver, driving the AL811H and the horizontal loop antenna. And it's sunny. All of a sudden, the sky is cleared up and the sun's out. We got about an inch of rain over the weekend. That's all behind us now, and it's 57 degrees. Not bad at all. So, very quickly, we go over to N4IYQ Chuck, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ and the old friends, N4IYQ. Good afternoon all the way around. About 56 degrees here. Winds at about 19 miles an hour. We've had gusts as high as 41. Did have some rain. I just got back from town a short time ago, and it was raining as I came back, but the rain had quit by the time I got home. We've gotten about 6/10 of an inch of rain in the last 24, and looking for about another 3 or 4/10 in the next 24. Kind of partly cloudy, a little bit of sun trying to peek through, but not much. I hope everybody had a good Christmas. On down to you, Mir, WF2U, N4IYQ.
Yeah, Roger, N4IYQ on the Grove, WF2U, very good and good afternoon, everybody. Signals are pretty good, and it was a lot of fun with the check-ins. Anyway, the bend is pretty quiet, and we got exactly 1.9 inches of rain in 24 hours, according to the digital weather station we have here. And actually the downpour stopped at about noon, and then we got another 10 minutes of it just all of a sudden at about 3, and didn't rain much, but just about 10 minutes, and the sun came out. We got wind gusts up to 20 miles an hour, which is not unusual here. And running the Yesu station, the FR101D receiver, and the matching FL101 transmitter, and the output is coming out of the Yesu FL2100B linear about 300 and a quarter watt at peaks. So the antenna is the usual end-fed halfway, 480 meters, about 45 feet high. So let's see, reports first. Charlie, you have a little QSB on you, but you're peaking up to S9. Dave was S9 to a little bit over. Steve, 10 over 9, fairly steady. And Mark, S9, and peaking up a little bit, like 5 dB over. And then I'll give reports in the next round. So, WB4ARK, this is WF2U.
WF2U, WB4ARK. Okay, Mir. Well, got a pretty good copy on everybody this afternoon. Couple things to note. The Parker solar probe has gone into orbit around the sun. It reached the area of the sun on Christmas Eve and went into orbit on Thursday night. And it's going to be looking at the difference between the surface, which is millions of degrees cooler than the atmosphere of the sun. So you're going to be trying to figure out what's going on there. And interesting thing about the Parker Solar Probe is that it's 3.8 million miles from the sun. Now, if you look at it from a football field standpoint, and you had the Earth in one end zone, one end of the field, and the sun at the other end of the field in the end zone, the Parker Solar Probe would be on the 4-yard line. So, and it's traveling extremely fast. It would go from Tokyo to New York City in 1 minute. So it's zipping along pretty quickly. And it was launched in 2018. So the other thing to note is a sad note. Dennis Brothers has passed away. Dennis was the Collins repair station since the 70s. Dennis was a very brilliant person regarding Collins equipment. And he lived in Nebraska, and he was set up by Collins as a repair facility. And anytime you talk to Dennis, you better pull up an armchair because you're going to have a long conversation. It don't matter what you call about, you would get off the subject and you would be talking about all kinds of things. But Dennis could talk for a long time anytime you talk to him on the phone. So he'll be sorely missed. And so that's the story there. So we had, I don't think I mentioned this, 0.3 inches of rain overnight. I don't know what we got from this rain front that came through about 8:20 or something like that. This morning it was very heavy rain for a period of time, and wind blew. We had a pretty strong windstorm with it, and then it cleared out, and it's been partly cloudy all afternoon. Sun's trying to come out now, so looks like we're on the downslope. So with that, over to W4KR, WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy. WB4ARK, W4KR. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's 57 here this afternoon. Buddy, I'm going to pick up a little bit where you left off about Dennis. Dennis, I considered a close friend. We talked a lot and often. And he was a the product of a Nebraska farm family. Went on to school and went to work for Collins, and ended up as the foreman manager of their amateur service division. Stuff would come off the assembly line and wouldn't pass test. It got routed to Dennis's group, and they fixed it and got it ready for sale. He retired from Collins and moved back to the farm, and moved back to the family farm. And but the last time I talked to Dennis, I was working on a VFO for my 75 A4. The tracking had gone wacky a little bit, and he said, send me the chart. So I sent him the chart. A couple days later he called and said, here, change this and do this, and it'll work. I did, and it did. So I'll have long fond memories of the person. And absolutely, buddy, Dennis was he was a communicator, absolute first-class communicator, a delightful, wonderful human being. Ended up with the store, with his shop in downtown, in their local downtown, and that's where he did his repair work. Needed a piece of Collins equipment repaired, it would go out there, and it might be there 3 months or so, because he had a lot to do. Had a couple of guys working for him, and he was tiring out and wanted to get out of it. If I remember right, Dennis would have been 82, 83, right in that range. Anyway, that's a resource that will be sadly missed by many. Let's see, what else do I know? Okay, what am I running this afternoon? Ranger driving the Thunderbolt. Antenna's the same old dipole up at 100 feet, the coax fed dipole up at 100 feet. So let me turn it over Pickens Way to my neighbor, and before I do send it to Glenn, we were up visiting family in Michigan over Christmas. We went up the middle of the month and stayed there for, well, been there, got back day before yesterday, and glad to get back. Glad to get home. Having 3-year-olds around the Christmas tree was was a challenge, but lots of fun. N4AK W4KR.
Okay, Stan. W4KR. And the update on the college repair. So that's very it's 60 degrees here over at Sunset, South Carolina. Woke up this morning at 7:30 to a tornado warning. So we went down to the basement, spent about 20-30 minutes till that passed over. I don't think they ever had one to hit the ground, but they were excited there was rotation up in the air. We've had 1 inch of rain here today. I'm currently on the ICOM 756 Pro 3 and SV221 G5RV. And early I was trying to get on another rig, and apparently the TR switch and the AL-1500 is giving me a problem. Nothing like antique equipment. Also, my computer is giving me an error message, and finally I figured that one out. The error message is a fan 90B. So in the HP Series 590, there's a fan not running. So much for that. John, K1VVC, N4AK.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Glenn. N4AK in the group, K1VVC. Hearing everybody extremely well. I think the the heavy rain took any of the interference out of the air, because it just isn't there today, at least not here. And did turn out to be a beautiful day. We had about 10 minutes of hurricane force wind, and that was about it. So everything came through just fine. And good to hear such a great turnout today for the last Sunday net of the year. And I want to remind everybody, this coming Thursday is January 2nd, the first Thursday of the month, and it's also a monthly luncheon at the Golden Corral in Spartanburg. And hopefully, I'm sure Charlie remembers and will dutifully keep reminding everybody like he always does. I'm running the Johnson Viking 500 today, receiving on the ITT Mackie 3010C receiver, and the antenna is a half-wave end fed for 80 meters. So with that, let me give it over to Gary. How are you? K3OS, K1VVC.
K1VVC and the group K3OS. Afternoon, everybody. And I guess it's about the same, although we have not seen sun here all day. Not even a hint. Had a, I don't know how much rain. I haven't looked at my rain gauge, but clearly we've had a reasonable amount. There was about 10 minutes where I couldn't basically see 50 feet out of the windows here. It was really coming down there for a short period of time, but the rest of it's been kind of dreary. And that's about it. I can see there's a little water on the antenna, even with my open wire feed line. The tuner had to do a little retuning, and that's okay. My feed line tends to touch some of the branches coming down on the trees. Running the Kenwood Twins here, the R599 T599 into the solid state amp at about 100 watts to give everybody a little bit better signal today than just the barefoot single 6146s. So, on to Jimmy, K4JAL, K3OS.
K3OS, K4JAL. Well, you about got it burned off your wire. Your signal came up as you were talking. Sounding good. I'm giving Jim's Johnson Viking 2 an exercise today. Had been on here for a while, listening on the R390A and talking through a Cobra that's about 50 feet at the apex. And I usually get out on it pretty good. I've got a couple of tapes from that guy Dennis Brothers, I think. Yeah, they're good. And I wanted to report that I saw on Facebook that Cane River was above or running over the top of the new temporary bridges up on Pensacola. I didn't hear that it wiped the bridges out, but I'm sure it scared the heck out of everybody up there. Over to you, Cliff, WB4NKL, K4JAL.
Okay, Cliff's lost power. This is Chuck, N4IYQ. I noticed my lights flickered a couple of times and got a text from him, so on to you, Dope. WN4PFI, N4IYQ. Maybe Cliff be here next go.
Just come back here. It's WB4NKL, if I've got it.
Got some feedback here. This is WN4PFI. Good afternoon, everybody. Looks like we've had 46 degrees here in Sutches, and looks like we've had all the rain. We've had 2.8 inches during the night, and over since Friday evening, we've had 5.8 inches of rain, and has washed all the leaves out of the ditches that was left here. Running DX60 today into the Warrior amplifier, and the same little receiver R600, Kenwood R600 receiver. So, I don't know where you're gonna go. Mark, you're supposed to pick it up after me. If you're not there, I guess Cliff will. Go ahead and take it. This is WN4PFI.
Thank you very much. This is Mark at KG4IUQ in Shelby. Right now I'm on my multi-Elmac AF-68, and I've been having a intermittent jamming with, I believe it's modulation, and I'm just waiting for I was having a trouble with the AF-68. I discovered that the tube 6146 had a strange glow inside the chassis. Looked kind of like a streak of light inside of it, so I replaced that tube with a 6146A, and it started working again. And I've decided that I'm going to take, I've ordered a Harvey Wells TBS 50D that I'm going to use as some parts. I'm going to take parts off of it and put it in the old Bandmaster Senior here, TBS 50C, and convert it into 50D so that hopefully I'll have good microphone audio. I don't have to be concerned with the carbon microphone anymore. Okay, I'm going to turn it over now to, well, I'm going to give a little signal report for everybody. Charlie, MEC, you're sounding good. Dave, LLR, you sound great. Steve, you're sounding good. Chuck, IYQ, you sound good. Mayor, sounds really good. Buddy, ARK, your friend, Dennis, I'm sorry to hear about him, and he sounds like a great person with his ability to communicate. That is, life is an important thing for us all. And I know that he means a lot to you. Stan, looking for KR. Doing well. Glenn, N4AK, you sound really good, but the modulation or something is down, it's low. It's hard to hear. It's hard to hear you here. K1VVC, you sound good. JAL, you sound great. Jimmy, JAL, you sounded fine. I'm going to turn it over now to Boone, WA4EVK in the group. This is KG4IUQ.
KG4IUQ in the group, WA4EVK. Good evening. Got bright sunshine here. Great temp. I think it's in the mid-60s here. Running the AF-68 in the Swan Mark I with SDR receiver so I can filter out some of the local neighborhood noise. Running that into a new 80 through 10 meter in-fed half wave, which I managed to get up after the rain stopped this afternoon. That was quite a little scrabble. Having lots of local, don't know where this power line, I suspect it's a plasma TV, so, but I can copy everyone so far. And with that, I'm going to turn it on over to Brian, KN4R to take it, WA4EVK.
WA4EVK in the group. KN4R, Brian, Shells Ford, North Carolina, where it's 62 degrees and 100% overcast and still breezy. So we're on the tail end of the weather. And, but copy everybody okay. I'm on the Globe Champ and listening on HRO, Black HRO, and propagation's been a little weird. Last night we were on 160, and it didn't sound all that good, and we're going to switch over to Carl's repeater, 147.285, to make sure Boone could hit it and all that. Well, Steve and Boone were fine on it, but previously, but last night I couldn't even bring the repeater up. Of course, I'm pretty far from the repeater, only running 40 watts, but it was very interesting. And of course now I can chunk the repeater again. So propagation's been weird, but anyway, copied everybody just fine, and over to Dennis, and then we got to get Cliff in here for round one. So take it away, Dennis. K8NEE in the group. KN4R.
KN4R in the group from Kilo 8, November Echo Echo. Copying everybody pretty well here. Well, you're the absolute strongest. You're hitting me 30 over. Mir and Charlie, some QSB. When I did hear Cliff, NKL, he was doing fairly well in here. Right now, rain and wind all day. Lost power for about 3 hours last night. I'll tell you what, I'll be glad when tomorrow comes, because it was supposed to be dry and sunny. So played radio all day. Made several photo contacts. We're on the 7610 AL-1500 in the loop, and the guest meter shows that I'm peaking about 225. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Charlie, W4MEC from Kilo 8, November Echo Echo.
Okay, Dennis, we're going to turn it over to Cliff and let him make a transmission. And Cliff, you'll be after Jimmy in the normal rotation next time. WB4NKL, W4MEC.
Okay, Charlie, W4MEC, WB4NKL, back with commercial power. We lost it for about 15, 20 minutes, I guess. Right after I checked in, it went down. A lot of wind here. I guess it slapped something together somewhere, but surprised it come back so quick. But it got up to about 60, and I don't know what it is out there now. I hadn't looked lately, but I got to walk in between rains, and so it's pretty nice, except for being windy. And good signals. Got a lot of QSB, seems like. Signals are up and down quite a bit on everybody, but copied everybody fine that go around. So send it on around. Go ahead, Charlie, W4MEC, WB4NKL, running ART-13 again.
Okay, Cliff, WB4NKL, group W4MEC. We had a carrier on top of you. Is that somebody else trying to check in?
KZ4 Bravo.
Okay, John, KZ4B, you're going to be after Dennis, K8NEE on the next go-around, and then you will turn it back to me. So go ahead and make a transmission and then turn it back to me. KZ4B, W4MEC.
Okay, W4MEC in the group KZ4B. Let me back off on the receiver here. I was having trouble copying you, Charlie. Earlier, I've got a tremendous line noise here. It started about 10 o'clock this morning. This is well after the storm. It's a good solid S9 steady buzz, just a zzz. And so, plus there is QS Baker. So, as usual, we're having trouble hearing here. We did have quite a heavy rain and blow pass through earlier this morning, but it was fairly brief, but extremely hard rain. Muy impressivo, to say the least. Sorry to hear about Dennis Brothers. I think I may have met him at Dayton some years back. Really, what a loss. Just knew everything there was to know about Collins gear. So I'm not going to hold it. Hopefully conditions will improve. But here lately, Charlie, I have not been hearing you as well as earlier. I don't know if you're running less power, conditions are just crappy, or what. But on that first go-round, you were fading out more than in. So back to you, W4MEC and the group KZ4B, over.
Charlie, Dale, W4 Oscar Papa called in right after John.
Okay, we'll add him to the list. W4OP, you'll be after John, KZ4B next time. So please go ahead and make a transmission and turn it back to me. W4OP, W4MEC.
Yeah, very good, Charlie. W4MEC in the group, W4OP. I'm not on my Gonset tonight. I've got that. I'm doing some work on it, and so this is the first time I've had the K4 on AM with the KPA 1500, running about 100 watts carrier. Only just a few watts, 6 watts drive. So we also had the storm up here in the mountains, and a fair amount of rain, a fair amount of wind. I don't see any trees down, so that's the best part of it. And let's see, I'm working on a new EME feed for my 1296 dish, the big 15-footer. Hoping to have it done here in the next couple of weeks. I'm not sure I'll have the wherewithal to get it on the dish, though. It stays pretty cold out there, and it's about a 2-hour job to get the old feed out and get the new feed in. I'll say hi to Stan and Brian, and I think it was Boone. Just wonderful modulation on that AF-68. Looks very, very good from low frequencies right up through the highs. So that's it on this end. W4MEC, W4OP.
Okay, W4OP, W4MEC. Any others that would like to join us? Come now. Well, we finally got to the end of the list there in 25 minutes. It's W4MEC and the old Friends Net. I just saw a note that Jimmy Carter at age 100 passed away today. So that's a bit of history going into the history book. So anyway, that's what else do I have here? I think it was Dope that said he got 5 inches of rain, and I was hearing everybody saying 1, 2, 1.5, and I went outside and looked at my gauge. I had 5 inches of rain exactly in my gauge. So we got 5 inches of rain here over this complete storm, and it was empty this time before it got here. So that's quite a bit, and I'll check my the history on my wind gauge, and we only got 16-mile-an-hour gust as a max. So anyway, let's see. I'm gonna keep it going here because we took 35 minutes to get around once, and we'll see how far we get if we started around again. So WA4LLR, W4MEC, take it away.
All right, Charlie, fine business. Great copy, wonderful signals. W4MEC, WA4LLR, Dave in Burnsville. Let's see, sorry to hear about Dennis passing. We're losing quite a bit of knowledge over the years. Everybody, as I said, everybody sounds really good, so I'm not going to do individual reports. A couple of things, let's see. Solar activity has really picked up. Buddy's talking about the Parker Solar Probe. It sure picked the time for a close pass. We've had at least a Class M flare almost every hour today. And then about 2:40 this morning, we had an X class. So it's really been popping. Sunspot count's 213, solar flux index 259, and the K is 1.33. So a lot of stuff going on right now. We talked about Norm, W7IUC, and he came home Saturday. They determined that a lot of what was going on was not so much due to the tumor, but due to the urinary tract infection and dehydration. But they said the tumor, there didn't appear to be any lesions anywhere else, so they think they can treat it with proton therapy. Rita says he sleeps a lot, and it's hard to get him to eat and drink like he's supposed to. And he's supposed to have home health and physical therapy coming this week, so she said she hopes they can get him to do it. But he is home out of ICU, so we're thankful for that. A real short thing about this day in history. On this day in 1890, the Army massacred about 200 Indians at Wounded Knee. On this day in 1940, London was devastated by German air raid. On this day in 1845, Texas entered the Union. And on this day in 1778, the British captured Savannah, Georgia. So that's a little thing on this day in history. Charlie, I'll say thanks for calling it, and good to be on board with everybody this afternoon. Steve, down to you. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, N4LQ. Very entertaining round and lengthy too. Let's see. My question to Gary and Brian and John, that is KZ4B John, if they're going to the luncheon and going to be here at Shelby for the ride. And let's see, the best sounding, if I shut my eyes and listen, the best sounding signals I heard was by far Gary, with just awesome audio. I don't know what you've done to yourself, but it just really sounds good. You must have been taking voice lessons or got a new microphone or something. And of course Dave on that little rig always sounds good, and Boone, that was the loudest and clearest audio, and everybody else sounds fine too. It's just that those stood out in my little mind here. So Gary was 20 over 9 too, which helped. Unusually strong. So hope to see everybody Thursday at the Old Friends Luncheon in Spartanburg. So with that, over to Chuck, N4IYQ, N4LQ.
N4LQ and the Old Friends, N4IYQ. Well, it was a good round and a lot of info, and Dave, thank you for the update on Norm. Certainly glad to hear that they've kind of defined some things, what was going on that was creating the biggest issue, and I hope the proton therapy works out on the tumor. And the home health people, that would probably be comical. I'd like to be on hand. Cliff and I are going to make it down to the luncheon Thursday. Cliff's got a piece of equipment to haul down, and I had a piece to haul down for a guy from Rock Hill, but he didn't realize the day I was coming, so he has to work, so I may just bring it and ship it from Spartanburg to Rock Hill, save the guy a little bit of freight. And Cliff, glad you're back to power. It did flicker up here a couple times, but never did lose it. And everybody's signal's good and strong here. I'll make this my last one. Certainly good to get in here. Maybe we'll get some of the morning, get in on a few of the Tuesdays and Thursdays, since it's 8 o'clock rather than 9 when I'm normally gone to the brain injury rehab. So everybody have a blessed weekend. Good to hear everyone. On down to you, Mir, WF2U, N4IYQ. Good afternoon.
Yeah, very good. Everybody all around, this is WF2U. Signals are booming in, and the weakest station so far was let's see, who was it? Glenn. For some reason, I only got an S8, and it's relatively steady. Everybody who went down to S8 also had peaks going up at least to S9. But the strongest station was John KZ4B, hit almost 20 over 9. So that's a boomer there. And I haven't done much with radios the whole week. I still have an awful lot of catching up to do from the time that before my knee surgery, that I kind of couldn't do a lot of things, and after I completely recovered and all that, now I'm back to the swing of things. And some rainy days I'm just doing some stuff inside, and that's what it is. So, what else? Nothing earth-shattering here, as I said. And hopefully the next couple of weeks I'll be able to work on some radios that are on the way to recovery under my hands, and we'll be able to use them one way or another. So anyway, it looks like the time is getting a little bit short, and a lot of people are after me. So I'll stay until the end of the net, but I'll say my 73s now, and it was fun with everybody, the whole bunch of people checking in, and the more the merrier. And Charlie, thanks for running the net. So, buddy, it's your turn. WB4 ARK. Oh, and Happy New Year to everybody, and see you all at the luncheon on Thursday. So, WB4 ARK and the group. This is WF2U.
WF2U, WB4 ARK. Okay, Mir. Very good copy on everybody's signal this time around. The work here on the two Collins KWM2As is now complete. I had a mechanical filter went bad on one, coil opened up one end. Never seen that happen before, but I'm sure it's possible, and it did. So we got that fixed, and so let's see what else. Looks like it's clouding up again here. Looked like the sun was going to come out. Now it's clouding over, and looks like it's going to start raining again. I'll tell you what, it's this weather is a mystery. It's coming and going, and going and coming. So thanks, Charlie, for calling the net today. I'll say that because I will not be around on the next go-around. And I guess that's about it, actually. My wife got home from Savannah, and just a little while ago, she went down with a friend of hers to a wedding. So with that, I guess we'll say 73, and we'll look forward to Tuesday. So over to W4KR, WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy, WB4ARK, this is W4KR in Walhalla. Well, Charlie, thank you for your service this afternoon, Charlie. Good job as usual. Thank you, sir. And this will be it from here as well. Gonna try and come to the lunch Thursday. It's gonna depend how things, I'll be able to assess that early Thursday morning, whether I can get away from here for a few hours. We will see. With that, 7-3s, everybody. We'll see what we can do about Thursday. Who do I turn it to? I want to turn it to my neighbor, Glenn. Audio sounds good to me here. N4AK, W4KR. Good morning, good evening. Good afternoon, everybody.
Okay, W4KR in the group. November 4 Alpha Kilo. The radio should sound different now because this is pure DX100 audio with a D104, so I finally got around to got my antique rig here, flipped on my hair, exercising it. So you fellows might comment, but Dope said my audio was down, so maybe this is up for him just a little bit there. And I hope Cliff doesn't experience a long time with power out.
Terry, thanks very much for doing the net. It's been very enjoyable hearing everybody this afternoon, and I'm signing out with a DX100 HQ180A. So, John, to you, K1VVC and 4AK.
Yeah, thank you very much, Glenn, N4AK, K1VVC. Sounded fine here. As long as I can understand what everybody's saying, that's fine with me. And I want to wish everybody a happy new year, a safe and healthy one, particularly healthy, which is tougher the older we get, but we'll keep our fingers crossed everybody will have a good year. Charlie, thank you very much for running the net. And with that, I'll turn it over to Gary, and hopefully we'll see you on Thursday. K3OS, K1VVC.
Okay, John, K1VVC, K3OS in the group. To answer Steve's question, first of all, thank you for the comment. Yeah, Kenwoods, I don't know. I haven't done anything. They've always been this way. Same D104 mic, same amplifier. I use it because it's hitched up. It's on my main operating desk and makes it a little easier for me to get on rather than have to go to one of the other setups here. Anyway, the answer to Thursday is, unfortunately, I cannot make it Thursday. I have a date with a clerk of court regarding my late sister-in-law's will. It's one of those mandating you've got to show up or you're in trouble to kind of finalize the inventory and things like that for those of you who have been through this. So I cannot miss that. That's 11 o'clock in the morning. And I've got to get that over and done with. Fortunately, that I think is probably the remaining task to do. So I will miss this month, but hopefully should be there on February. I want to make this my last one too. By the way, I'm seeing a little blue sky every now and then, but so it's encouraging. I hope whatever you guys are seeing south of me is not headed my way. Best of the new year to everybody. Well, we'll probably see everybody on Tuesday morning anyway. Go ahead, Jimmy. Nice to hear you. K4JAL, K3OS.
K3OS, K4JAL. Well, I got my Christmas present back to Amazon today. My wife got me a 3D printer from China. It only spoke Chinese. It wouldn't even use the American internet. And I was very fortunate. She ordered it 3 months ago, and they took it back. So happy days are here again. I think it's time to say Happy New Year, and back in my drinking days, we always call that amateur night. So everybody be safe and have a good one. 7-3. I guess I'll try Cliff again. Hope your power is on, Cliff. WB4NKL, K4JAL.
Yeah, K4JAL, WB4NKL. Yeah, fortunately, it was just about a 20-minute glitch, and it came back, so hopefully it'll stay. And we still got some high wind out here, though, gusts coming through. That'll get me busy on getting I've been meaning to hook up an Elmac station on 12 volts, and I've got some batteries here that have a emergency boat anchor station I could stay on the air with. Let's see. Yeah, like Chuck said, we're planning on coming to the luncheon Thursday if the weather permits. And Glenn, the DX100 sounds great. Gary, I think all your rigs sound great. I think it's the operator. Let's see. I've been working on one thing I was going to ask about. I've been working on a BC614D speech amplifier for the BC610 transmitter, and I don't have a manual on the Delta. It's a BC614 Delta, and on the internet I can't find one. So I was wondering if anybody might have a copy of that it's the earlier series, and it's a little different from the later one. So I'd like to find don't have to have it, but it'd be nice to have, just because there's some differences in there. 73s, thanks for calling it, Charlie. Let's see, it goes on to WN4PFI, WB4NKL. Happy New Year to everybody.
Okay, Okay, Cliff, good signal. This WM4 PFI and suches. Glenn, if you're still...
Looks like he died.
A rolling power outage. Dope, you with us? Maybe he'll come back, so we will send it to Mark, KG4IUQ, W4MEC.
Thank you very much. This is Mark, KG4IUQ. I was thinking about the possibility of coming out there to that luncheon, but I have to work that day. I'm actually off of work on Monday, a little bit on Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday I'm off for another couple of days. So it's real good on my end. Since I've had some time off, I've been able to get to thinking about this radio stuff. I've enjoyed it. Right now I'm on an external VFO, and I'm comparing the sound by listening to a recording that Steve is making. I'm going to see if it sounds about the same as the built-in VFO of this AF-68. My power right now is, let's say, my meter is saying about 20 watts carrier, but when it modulates, it's going up like 80, even higher. And I'm not using an amplifier because I got to thinking about it, and I think this output on this thing is too high for the Medicon AL811H. Last week I was thinking that amplifier was messed up, but what I discovered was that a meter, this WR power meter that displays the output, had a battery, and I didn't know it. And I went into the amplifier, took out tubes, and it did some damage to the caps on the tubes. Two of them came off, and I ended up, eventually when I discovered what was wrong with the meter, I actually soldered back the caps on, and then I put the original tubes back in. I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. Good to hear you. I'm going to turn it over now to Boone, WA4EVK in the group. This is KG4IUQ.
KG4IUQ in the group, WA4EVK. Thanks, Charlie, for riding herd on this group. Quite a net this afternoon. Enjoying it very much. And Gary, I'm not sure I believe you about the audio, buddy. That's really better audio down this way than I've heard in the past, so maybe it's just signal strength, but the audio is fine. That's just about it for me. I'm going to get out of here pretty quick and hand it on down to Brian. And Brian, I think you're coming to the luncheon. I'll have that antenna thrown in the trunk, not the trunk, but the back of the truck. KN4R to take it, WA4EVK.
Okay, Boone, very good. And thank you. WA4EVK in the group, KN4R. All right, very good. Been a great net. Copying everybody just fine here. And I agree, Boone, your audio is really awesome today, and Gary's is too. But I think you said you were on the Kenwood Twins, Gary, so that's one of the reasons, or one of the potential reasons for it. But let's see, buddy, congrats on the getting 2 KWM2As up and running. I've got one here that's working, but the meter's not working, and I have not, I don't know if it's stuck or just inoperable. I need to put a little small signal onto the meter directly to see if it moves at all.
But anyway, if you have any thoughts on easy replacement of that meter, let me know. So, well, let me do some testing here, and I'll contact you if I need some support. And Dale, W4OP, beautiful job on that Clig, and thanks for sharing those pictures on the Old Friends email. You do beautiful work. And Steve, yes, I would like to ride with you on Thursday. And John, KZ4B, if you're available, just come over here and then we'll head down to Steve. So anyway, everybody be safe on amateur night, and Happy New Year if I don't talk to you before. And I look forward to a lot of good communication in 2025. So let's see. Over to you, Dennis. K8NEE in the group, KN4R.
Okay, Dennis, boy, you got weak there. Anyway, 7-3, pick it up, John, KZ4B.
Okay, fine. KN8EE in the group, KZ4B. Charlie, I'm copying you fine now. I guess as we head for the evening, conditions have greatly improved across the board, really. The strongest signals are Dave, Steve, Buddy, and John, K1VVC, just about all tied for first place. And Gary's coming in quite nicely, but here not as strong as the aforementioned. And let's see, Brian, I will definitely plan on heading over to your place to ride with you to Steve's on Thursday. Looking forward to that. And I had mentioned last night on the 160 meter net that there is an article in QST July of 2024 where you can buy inverters that DC to, it's not an inverter really, it's a DC to DC converter to either reduce or boost the output from any of these lithium-ion power tool batteries to run a 100-watt transmitter. Real neat little article, and the neat thing is the inverters are cheap. I bought one that's will take anywhere from 8 volts to 40 volts and boost, put out 13.8 volts, which is of course what a mobile or small transceiver wants to see for the input. And it's like $41, and there's several others that are actually cheaper than that. Some more expensive, but just remarkably inexpensive Chinese inverters, and they're in the range of 240 to 340 watts as far as the power that they can handle. Very interesting article. So if anybody else is interested in running an emergency rig off a lithium-ion battery, or the one that I bought, which is 8 volts to 40 volts, will actually boost a weak 12-volt lead acid battery. You know, it starts out at about 13 volts, and as you discharge it, it goes on down till nothing. And it'll actually boost it or if you've got a lithium-ion battery up to 40 volts, it will buck it. And it's above 90% efficiency. So, really neat little thing, and cheap. So on that note, I have rambled on enough. Charlie, thanks for calling the net. Hope everybody has a very happy and prosperous new year. So from here, I guess it goes to, if you're still in there, W4OP. KZ4B, over.
Yes, thank you very much, John. KZ4B, W4OP. Good copy on everyone. It's last time Mir was on, just conditions put him into a QSB fade, but he came right back up out of it again. Let's see, I made a few notes here. I want to say hi to Stan. I forgot that, but I think he's shut the station down by now. I worked Country 13 on 10 meter AM today. For the last 2 months, I've been keeping a paper log with the guns at G76, and Germany was country number 13 on 10 meter AM. And John, I bought an inverter. Well, it was DC in, and I guess it was DC out. And it was a Chinese piece. This goes back 3 or 4 years ago. It put out 400 volts. And it was very load dependent, and I asked the seller, and they didn't, of course, have a clue what they were really selling. What I have done is on a couple of the old boat anchor rigs here that were made to go mobile or fixed, sometimes I'll get a hold of the mobile power supply before I can find the DC one, and that was the case with the I think the WRL duo bander, either that or the Transcom HF transceiver. Anyway, I replaced the vibrator with the new solid state vibrators. That makes a very nice power supply. You can run it off your 14 volt bus in the shack, and gets all the voltages that one needs. There's 2 or 3 different manufacturers of those solid state vibrators. They sing at a much higher frequency than the metal ones, the mechanical ones do, but it seems to work very, very fine. So I'm going to say 73s on this round 2. I'm going to be listening out. But Charlie, thank you for running a nice net. I think I've got everybody listed here. I didn't count it up, but I'll bet we've got 20 stations in here today. So Happy New Year to all. I hope to be on again next weekend. Last time, Charlie, I turned it back to you, and you turned it over to LLR. So, Charlie, thank you again for running the net, and over to you. W4MEC in the group, W4OP.
Okay, Dale, W4OP in the group, W4MEC. Okay, fellas. We'll shut her down here. Thanks for everybody that checked in. And you mentioned powering a mobile rig. There was one of the original single sideband for the radio amateur. There is an article on there about tapping off the 3-phase power coming off your alternator, and off of a line off of each set of diodes. And in his case, he used 3 10-volt secondary transformers, 230 volt primary, and hooked them up. I can't remember if it was delta or Y what he did, and he got 700 volts AC, and he rectified it and ran his rig off of that. And he had his low B plus in there also, but he actually just, I don't know if you can do it now with the modern alternator because they're a lot more complicated. But in the old days, that was a pretty ingenious thought. I thought about getting DC high voltage for a tube mobile rig. So anyway, anybody that's not going to be here Tuesday, have a Happy New Year. And if you're showing up Tuesday, we get one more chance to say Happy New Year. And I have to say one last thing, and that is when it comes to audio, if there is a National Bureau of Standards for the quality of AM signal, I'm going to insult everybody here except Dave. Dave and that Babcock transmitter has got the quintessential perfect broadcast station audio. I don't know what it is about the microphone and acoustics in his room or Dave, but I've never heard a rig sound that good. So anyway, 7-3 all. Have a happy new year. Be careful, and we'll see you on Tuesday morning. It's W4MEC shut down.